In the previous outing, we chased rainbows and bowfin, and even though there was a bowfin literally sitting on the boat ramp at the end of the day, I could not capitalize, and then we got rained out. On a new day, I headed back toward northeast Iowa for some more trout fishing. This would be an overnight adventure with fishing on both days. First, I decided to stop and try to catch some smallmouth. I launched the paddleboard, headed upstream, and saw a number of common carp and river carp suckers that were really spooky. I ended up settling in around a nice looking pool. I waited around throwing a clouser minnow, and after a while, I was pleasantly surprised by what ended up on my line.
Pretty sure this is a rainbow. Out a clouser minnow. There you go. Rainbow trout. Probably stocked at one point, but definitely naturalized at this point to the river and willing to chow on minnows apparently. Literally watched him follow it right up to the edge here and just eat my streamer right there. I thought it was a smallmouth at first.
And that was it for that spot. So I loaded up the paddleboard and did a little wade fishing, and I did finally get a little smallmouth bass.
Smalley.
After that, it was time to hit the road and head to the next spot.
So just made it to the new spot. There are just bugs buzzing everywhere. Clouds are looking real sweet right now. I'm no meteorology or cloudy person, but all I know is they look cool. So we're on a little trout stream here in northeast Iowa. Only ones here at the moment, which is my favorite. Love the solitude that some of these driftless streams provide. And I'm also thankful for access that's provided through our state lands, as well as conservation easements with private landowners.
The other rainbows were super non-committal, and I didn't have much success, so it was time to hop to a different location.
Alright, so last spot didn't work out great. We're gonna try one more little small stream spot before we head up farther north. See how it goes. Kind of a meadowy place here. Make sure that if you are fishing private water, get your trash out of there, please, so we don't lose access to places like this.
I explored a new-to-me stream near its upper reaches, and I found quite the surprise right at the bridge where I put in at.
I literally just walked up on the stream and there's a golden eagle right here. She doesn't look like she's in great shape, unfortunately. Still alive, but there are flies all over her. And a chub. Cool fish. Skinny but long chub. Holy cow.
Throwing small streamers and nymphs yielded some chubs and shiners, but no trout this time. And I had one final spot I wanted to try before the day was done.
Shiner.
Spey casting is a great method for salmon fishing in larger rivers. My friend Eric taught me to spey cast in Alaska back in 2018, and I've been hooked on it ever since. Spey casting has been adapted to smaller waters for trout fishing, and I was hoping to run into a fish or two in a larger river doing some spey casting. There's probably nothing I enjoy more in the fly fishing world than spey casting these days.
Fish on. Oh, he got off.
While I did end up hooking a couple of fish, they did not stay hooked, and I came away skunked for the evening. After a crappy night's rest in the bed of the truck, it was off to do a little early morning trout fishing.
Look at that thing. Gorgeous.
Some quiet, peaceful small stream action was really enjoyable. One other stream that morning had me fighting cows for the prime fishing water. I would say that the cows, and my allergies, won this battle pretty handily. Finally, the last stop of the day was to give it another go for those sneaky bowfin. I launched the stand-up paddleboard and paddled along with the sun shining bright overhead, great for sight fishing. After paddling around for a while and becoming fairly discouraged by some strong winds and not seeing a whole lot of fish, I was almost ready to give up. But then all of a sudden, I started seeing fish. More fish. And the right kind of fish. Bowfin.
gonna get them. Broke me off. I let him get in the weeds. Bummer.
After those 2 hookups, even though I hadn't landed any fish, my spirits were renewed and I kept after it knowing that the persistence would pay off.
Hit it.
On the fly. Wild creatures. Look at that. Jeez. Look at the spot on the tail. And they have some teeth in there too, so you gotta be careful. Wow. Now these guys can actually take in oxygen from the air, so getting them back in the water immediately isn't quite as important as it is with a trout or something like that. All right, I'm gonna let him go. First one. Sweet.
I'm pretty jacked right now. I don't live very close to these guys, so for me to make the trip out here, I'm really glad I got one. Oof, my knot just broke too. Yikes. I think there must just be a lot of them in this little area because I'm just blind casting and then they're somewhat regularly following it in or just showing up right here on the shore. Like this one is right here. He broke me off and I see my fly. You have to be really careful when you're doing this because rod tips are really fragile. Got it tangled in my own line there and got it back. We're gonna use some heavier tippet here since that one didn't seem to work so well.
On the paddle back to the truck, I had the wind at my back, which meant that I just had to guide the stand-up paddleboard with the paddle in one hand, and I would be able to cast with the other hand if any fish showed themselves. These fish have such bony mouths, a strong strip set is required. And I found that I couldn't get a great hook set in them from this position, but boy, was it fun to get a few more eats from these cool fish.
Bye, buddy. It's so funny how our perspectives change. At the beginning of this trip, I was all about bowfin. I was really excited to get a bowfin, but I was going to make some trout stops on the way. Then I kind of got excited about trout. I enjoyed trout fishing a lot, and then I got to the bowfin spot and just wasn't working out great. I mean, I was paddling into the wind, not seeing very many fish. My arms were getting tired, body getting tired. But because I kind of pushed on a little farther, I was able to get into a lot of fish. You know, sometimes as anglers, we think that if we just get to one more spot, one more cast, one more, that we're gonna have success, and sometimes we do and sometimes we don't. Trout fishing today, I didn't have incredible success. Trout fishing yesterday, I didn't have incredible success. Caught a few, but really this was kind of my major highlight of the trip now, to the point where the beginning of this bowfin outing I was getting so frustrated and ready to call it a day, ready to quit, and then literally 2 minutes ago I'm having so much fun that I am able to hook a bowfin and it gets off and I don't even care. One thing I do need to work on, I need to work on my strip set, because especially with bowfin, they have this super hard mouth. Even with an 8 weight, it's just not enough force. There's a bowfin. Oh, that might have been a dog. And so that's something I still need to work on. But overall, great outing. Super excited about the outcome today.
I found my time chasing backwater bows, both rainbows and bowfin, to be productive and enjoyable. I do find it funny that so many of us, myself included, find such enjoyment in catching rainbow trout, a non-native, introduced, and in Iowa, a stocked fish. When we have bowfin around, these incredible wild, native, naturally sustaining species that are a great target with any fishing rod, and definitely worth fishing for. Of course, all fish are incredible and we love them all, so let's continue to do what we can to support causes that fight for the conservation and preservation of our wild fisheries. Thanks for watching. Tight lines, we'll see you on the water.